I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Yeah. Steve Miller, everything is better when wet. I couldn't disagree with the man.
Why in the world was that in your head?
Actually, it was Jungle that was in my head.
Oh, okay.
And I think I played Bungle in the Jungle recently.
Okay. So you want to change it up?
You know, it was like, I feel like both of us, I feel like we've been run through the meat grinder.
Yeah.
Over the past week. I could have probably played this song also. I'm thinking of it now. Let me see if I can find this song really fast because there was another song with Jungle. Yep. Oi, oi, yo. Those were words back in the 80s.
Well, I like to know ya. That song?
Yeah. And if you watch the video, Apollonia is in the video.
Yeah.
She's a pretty good musician herself, good drummer and what have you. Anyway, we're not here to talk about music today because, look, I mean, my head is in a weird place right now, Anna. I mean, I'm just going to be honest.
Even despite your cool hat?
Yeah, even despite
that's a cool hat.
You see what's written on it? Can you read it?
At first I thought it was a Ferrari hat, but what does that say? Oh, stallion.
Yeah, it says stallion. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
The Ferrari's a lion, not a stallion.
No, the Ferrari is a stallion.
It is a stallion. What's the one that's a lion?
No, that's like Peugeot or something.
Oh, sorry, Ferrari.
A brand that doesn't go fast.
A brand that does not go. It barely goes.
Yeah, and then you got the Bull. That would be Lamborghini.
The Bull. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So yeah, they got some cool things. Anyway, I've been in a weird place.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened internally,
Sure.
But you know what? I think ultimately some good is going to come out of it.
Always.
Folks, I'm not going to get into it because
no. Good stuff always comes out of bad stuff. Let's be honest.
We have a lot of people that volunteer, and and I couldn't be more appreciative of those people if I tried. What those people do is just unbelievable, and it's all because we have this passion to help each other and make each other better. Right. It's just a passion.
Right.
And, when you have people getting together, look, it's easy when people have, jobs and they get paid and the whole thing. It's one thing, right? It's like, if you don't do your job, you get fired. Right. Or you get reprimanded, or there's an HR person there, and there's all kinds of rules and regulations. But when you have this thing that you started on the internet and it's grown to hundreds of thousands of people, then you have other volunteers, because these are people who are passionate because they got help. Right. And they get passionate and they want to help. And then, you end up with personalities. And we dealt with a lot of that this week. Looks like we're pulling out of it. And it looks like we're going to be better. Because whenever something comes up, you want to be better.
You want to learn from it.
Go back to status quo. I wasn't aware.
Yeah. I always say you don't learn anything when things are going well. You're just like assume like everything's going to be great forever. And that's not how it happens. You only learn stuff from failure.
Look, I've talked about failure a lot on this show, and this is a perfect opportunity because you might be new to what we talk about health and fitness, and we get people to lose hundreds of pounds, right, on this show. Not tons of people losing a pound each. We've had individuals lose 300-400 pounds from the show. And that's what this show is about, getting people healthy again.
Right.
But I always say failure is the key to success. And I use a few different ways to describe it. One is FQ. I wrote about it in my book, Fitness Confidential. FQ, failure quotient. You can have the highest. I know people who are Mensa Society people who can't figure out how to get out of first gear in life. They can't figure out how to bunt and hit a single in life. They can't. And they're in Mensa. And I know other people like myself who Mensa would laugh at, right? Who do quite well. What's the difference?
Right.
The difference is it's an even playing field for everyone, whether you want to believe that or not. In life, there's an even playing field, even if you're behind the 8 ball. God only knows. I had some situations that could have kept me behind the 8 ball my entire life. Again, you can read the book or not. And getting out from behind that 8 ball, it seems like every time I took my shot, I was behind the fucking 8 ball again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But failure quotient is about how many times you can fail, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it again like it never happened. You don't talk about it. Woe is me. Woe is me gets you nowhere in life. It gets you exactly nowhere. Well, then I told him this, and then he said that, so it's his fault. Fuck that shit. I hear all the time, well, I would have lost weight, but my fill in the blank, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, well, she's there eating ice cream every night. What am I supposed to do? Or I'm trying really hard and he walks in with fried chicken and I'm smelling the fried chicken. What am I supposed to do? Guess what? You have a brain. Fried chicken does not have a brain. Okay? Pizza does not have a brain. Haagen-Dazs does not have a brain. They don't make choices. You make choices. And if you're going to let someone else control what you're going to eat just by them eating it, you need to take a better look at yourself. Ooh, Debbie, we might be able to use some of that.
I think that was a Debified.
I feel like a Southern preacher, like a Baptist preacher. But I'm being serious.
Instead of fire and brimstone, it's fat and protein. He's preaching fat and protein.
I'm teaching eating fat and protein to get rid of your type 2 diabetes, your all of your metabolic syndromes, your fatty liver, your sleep apnea, you name it. And look, I mean, I'm sorry to come out yelling like this early in the show.
Why? I love it.
Because I got my board fixed. By the way, can I show you something I put on my board?
Yeah.
Why is this? Mention that word. Who's my best friend who I climb mountains with?
Coddy Cod.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday.
Loaded it in. Now that I can hear.
Yeah. Let's say we want to hear it again. We could just hear it again.
Don Coddington.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday, 5 o'clock. Have a good weekend.
I got a lot of buttons on my board. That one is in red. That's the red button.
That's the upper left one, the red button.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. That's where that lives. Don't say it, Anna. I'm going to have to hit it again. But listen, I'm being honest here. I'm being serious. Now, there are situations, and I'm not going to use her name because it was a private conversation, someone I do consults with, but she'll know who it is whenever I say this. I have a person who I do consults with, but I have a special thing with this person because she does so many consults. I have her write to me every Friday just to check in.
Mm-hmm.
I get paid for this. I just want you to check in. Check in with me. You be accountable to me. To be accountable to yourself.
That's awesome.
Be accountable to me. I can't do this for everyone, but you know what?
I was going to say, would you ever do an accountability group?
Maybe we could do something. Maybe we could do a thing where 10 people can sign up once, twice a month, and I'll do a Zoom. How many people can you do on Zoom where you think you can help them?
I don't know. Ask Debbie. 50?
I don't want to put that many people in. So maybe 30. All right. So maybe we get everybody. You can't afford a real consult, like just a one-on-one. Maybe we do a 1-on-10.
Okay.
We put 10 people in the group. Let me know within the Facebook group. Let me know if you guys like this idea. I'll get in there, maybe 10 people, maybe 12, something like that. Whatever is feasible, right? And maybe you could talk to people in the Facebook group and say, hey, you want to be in? You want to come in? And say everybody puts in, I don't know, how much money each, Anna?
For a month?
No, just for one session.
$20-$30.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And we do 10 people. And we say, all right, we'll do an hour. Have your questions ready. Because here's the deal. as you're hearing other people's questions, your question may come up.
Right.
Not may.
And you get
probably
value hearing other people's answers, even, but I mean, I want it to at least equal what you get for an hour of your time.
Right. Well, look, if you,
so maybe not $20, maybe like 30, whatever your hourly
well, I don't know. Well, I don't care about the money I make. I'm going to just put it into the podcast. That'll just go into that podcast.
Okay.
But
I'm just saying it's okay for you to make what you make when you do a consult.
Right. But I'll just dump this into so that other people can get help. We can just keep the show going, but we'll figure that part out.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you guys let me know. What do you think? What's doable? Well, if you do a half an hour with me, it costs like $110 or something. I don't know. If you do an hour, I think that one's $195. If you get to sit with me for an hour, but with a group of 10 or 12 other people, what would you pay for that? What are you willing to pay?
Yeah, tweet.
To ask questions.
Yeah, tweet or put it on Facebook or whatever, because it seems like, especially if it's 10 people, you can afford to do 5 minutes a person and still have 5 minutes, 10 minutes left over to,
and maybe I'll do a
one-time.
Maybe I'll do a one-time thing to check out, see if it works, see if people.
I was going to say, let's just try it once. That sounds fun.
People like it. Maybe I'll do it twice a month, maybe every Friday. Who knows?
Yeah.
At any rate.
So anyway, she writes you a check-in.
She writes me a check-in. And she's always, some weeks she loses a pound or two. Some weeks she loses 2 or 3 pounds. Other weeks she gains a pound or she doesn't lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when she says, hey, I had a great week, I lost 2 pounds, I write back, great job, love it, keep doing what you're doing, what have you. Whenever I see I haven't lost any weight or I gained a pound, I'm always saying, what up? What happened? Right? I want to know.
Right.
And in this particular case, very stressful. Had to put a pet down. I think it was her dog.
I'm sorry.
I felt awful. Well, you know how I feel about dogs. Well, I've been trying to get you to kill yours for a long time, but that's different.
She's been trying it too, but
look, here's the thing. It's very difficult. Pets, I almost started crying. I've never met this dog. I get where she was. It's not, as I told her, not a shame to get knocked down. It's only a shame if you stay down.
Right.
Right. I saw a similar post from another woman. Not post, but text. Hey, I went off the page. Went way off the page. Went to a concert in another state. I was reading it earlier today. I can't remember where. Went to a concert, went and did this, that, and the other thing. And I ate like dog shit. She knows what she did. She knows what the failure is. She knows how to correct that and move on. It's not important that you fuck up. It's important that you fix it, that you figure out what you did and you fix it. I said this the other day when I was doing one of my YouTube deals, right? One of those videos. As an athlete, and I've been an athlete my entire life, as an athlete, it's vital to know where you screwed up. It's the only way you can fix it, right? Tom Brady was slow and almost unathletic. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest NFL football player of all time. He worked on everything he knew to work on. He made everything else that much better to where his speed didn't matter. He became a technician at everything else, including his diet. The guy even ate on point. I'm pretty sure he wasn't much of a drinker. I can promise you he didn't do drugs or smoke. I don't even know Tom. I can promise you that part. He kept everything on point. He did everything he could, and he became the best quarterback ever with little or no talent. He never had Drew Brees' amount of talent, or he never had what the Mannings have, or the guy over at Kansas now, Mahomes. He never had that kind of talent. Can you imagine? I don't know if he knew what to do with Mahomes' amount of talent. Don't know. His head would have exploded, but he took what he had, and look what he did with it. And there's story after story about that, right? And the only way we find out how to do anything is by failing. And through failure, you learned out, you look at it, you go, you don't just go, oh, I failed, I'm rubbish at that. Rubbish, the word Serena would use. I suck, or I'm a jackass, or I tried something, right? I'll give you another story. I feel like being inspirational tonight, Anna. I saw people when I took this Learn to Row class this summer. I took a Learn to Row. I didn't know how to row. I know how to do I know how to paddle, sea kayaks and everything else. Rowing is its own beast, right? You're in a boat that would tip over if you didn't have those oars in the water. And then you got to start moving those oars around. It's not easy. And when we took Learn to Row, most people in that class, I wondered how they got there. I truly wondered. It's like, did they lose a bet? Because I can tell it was people going, you know what? That looks like a great way to be in shape. That looks like something I should do to get in shape. But probably never watched a video. And the first part of that class was sometimes when people were going forward to the catch, other people were coming back to the finish, and oars were colliding and everything else. You've never seen such a calamity in your life. And there were 4 boats in the water. Most of the time I said to the coaches, I felt like you guys were herding lizards today. Everybody was just going in a different direction.
Right.
Right. Think Bad News Bears. Think the movie Stripes at the beginning. Just a ragtag group of people, and none of us knew what we were doing. But slowly but surely, you saw people coming around. You saw the people who were athletes. Some people started missing classes, I'm sure out of frustration, or they had to go pick up their kids at school or what have you, right? But people started dropping off. And then we had the second thing. We had novice row after that. So you could sign up for August and do novice row. The only people I saw in novice row were the ones that kind of figured it out in the beginner program, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Everyone else dropped off. They just dropped off. Well, on Sunday, I was back, and now I'm part of the group, right? As a matter of fact, I passed my captain's test. I can take a boat out on my own now and everything else. So I've advanced, but this story is not about me. On Sunday, I went out to row bright and early in the morning. It was raining, and we were getting ready to get in the boat. And I saw a girl. I'm not going to mention her name, but I think we called her Michelle. And I hadn't seen Michelle since beginning to row, beginner program. She didn't come to novice. She was one of those people that never could really figure out what to do, right? I felt bad for people like her. I particularly felt bad for her. I don't know why. She had that look on her face like she really wanted to figure it out. But here she was on a Sunday morning, and she showed up, and someone took her out. Someone took her out on a 2-man boat. And I was happy to see that, oh my God, she didn't quit. I thought she had quit. But here she is, because she really wanted to learn how to do something. She could have looked at all the failures she had in that beginner class and never show up again. But that's, in fact, not what she did. She came back and she made something of herself. And that's the type of thing we're talking about here. I get it. You failed on every stupid diet. You had your stomach stapled. You had a balloon put in. You had a lap band. You've done every crazy diet. You drank apple cider vinegar. You did Weight Watchers. Jenny Craig, you bought all the food. Slim Fast. 2 shakes a day, 1 sensible meal at night. I still don't know what that means. You went through all of it. And through all of it, every morbidly obese person I ever talked to, Anna, every one of them, to a person, have lost 100 pounds at some point. They're 400 pounds. Tell me your story. Well, at one time I lost 120 pounds. Tell me about that. Well, yeah, I was 310. I got down 190. And then, I went to a wedding. Okay. So you white knuckled it down to 190. Oh yeah. All I could think about was when I get to that, whatever that fill in the blank goal weight was, that's when they turn around and go in the opposite direction. That's not changing your life. you did a prison sentence. I call that a prison sentence. You were able to white knuckle it and hold your nose and do something because, my God, in 1 year, my daughter's getting married, my husband's getting married, my whoever is getting, and I want to look at
My husband's getting married.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. My husband, Donna, wanted to look at the funeral. I don't know, Anna. But for whatever reason, people look at my high school reunions coming up. I used to be the cheerleader. Now I've had 3 kids. I can't go back looking like this. For whatever reason people do it, they will white knuckle it, lose the weight, go to that event, and then boom, they're right back where they started.
Right.
Right back. They don't pass go. They don't collect $200. They go right back and they zoom past that old number.
Right.
Right. And that's when they start Googling and somehow they find us. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a 30-minute.
No, it's great,
Anna. But
well, listen, I'll tell a little story. I already post this on a post, but I had to say no to a PO to an opportunity, and I'm not going to get into details, but it basically, if I had said yes, it would have been our biggest order we'd ever had. But then ultimately it would have bankrupted the company. Let's be honest, because we weren't ready to manufacture that level of stuff in that time frame. And so I had to say no, and that was really painful. And in the meantime, I've been applying for a line of credit from the bank. And then they wrote a letter that I got yesterday that said it's been denied. And I was unsure as to the reasonings because it didn't really fit the criteria. I gave them the information, but I was like, okay. And I think too, and this is how I could tell I've had a sign of progress, because I think 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I would have felt very crestfallen and like I would have been sadder for longer when disappointing news came in.
Right.
And instead I was like, all right, like immediately was like, there's got to be a reason. Because now I know, now I have 50 years of experience of observing how things happen. And usually when that bad thing happens that makes you feel bad, there's a reason for it that you can learn and grow from it, you know? So now it's really fun to be able to recognize in myself that I get the letter with the negative news and immediately go, well, there's got to be a reason. Can't wait to learn what the reason is. Like, I want to know so I can like grow from it as fast as possible. And then the bank writes me yesterday afternoon and they're like, oh, we need the underwriting has a few more questions. And I was like, oh, and I answered their questions. I was like, happy to answer the questions. But I got a letter today saying that it was done and it had been rejected. And he goes, oh, no, they just send that letter because they have to within a certain amount of time.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay.
It's crazy.
I know. So, and then I wrote him back. I was like, thank you. And by the way, I went to the SBA website because I was looking for like loans, for female owned business. I was looking for anything because we need money to do a cash infusion, get a loan.
Right.
And so, I wrote them. I was like, well, I'm going to apply for these too, because I'm not sure which direction it's going to go in with my own bank. So, and he's like, that's fine. Just let us know if you settle on something or whatever. And then I went to the SBA website and I thought I was applying for a loan, and so I gave all this information, but it turns out the SBA just sells your info to a bunch of banks.
Right.
And then all day today, I've been literally getting hundreds of messages and spams. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do?
I was about to say.
So that's another thing I will learn from.
Anna, I wish you had called me first. Don't mess with SBA when it comes to business.
I didn't know.
It's good if you get one because they're very low interest business.
Are they low interest rate? Yeah.
But here's the thing, a line of credit. And if you're getting a line of credit on merchandise, now we're
inventory.
On inventory. Yeah. If you're doing, then there's a way that they work with you on that. As a matter of fact, that's the way you want to go. That's what big businesses do. Even companies like.
Are you talking about with the SBA or with the bank?
No, the line of credit. So.
They know. Like, the bank knows.
Companies
what
like Walmart, they were failing at some point in the whole thing. They'll get a line of credit for $2 billion as the company's going on, because what the bank is buying is the merchant. If you have that merchandise to back it up on merchandise. That's all I'm going to say. Let's get back to.
No, that's what it was for. Was for inventory. I didn't want to get into the weeds of everything.
Yeah. If it's on inventory,
the thing. the thing is that I want to tie this back to health and fitness and learning, like shortening that time period of going, okay, I gained a pound or two this week. And instead of going, oh, I'm a fucking piece of shit. Why did I let myself do that? Why did I get off the rail and do it going to that terrible place, which I'm sorry, but we all do that. And I, people with food issues, we do that to ourselves. We really love crushing the crap out of ourselves. And instead go to, I did it and I'm not going to do it anymore, is like a huge growth thing. Cause it was framed to me years ago. How about, what if you could get to that realization without having to do all the drama of beating yourself up? What would that look like? It's like, oh, well, it would just look like I just make another choice. And then you're free to like live your life instead of just being in this like K-hole of self-flagellation. If that makes sense.
No, it really does make sense. And look, I think people know about my failures more than yours because I've talked about mine. I wrote a whole book about it. You would have to fit it in between the pages of a cookbook. By the way, folks, there's a new cookbook coming out, and I can't wait to get
Happy Italian.
Vocino. Yeah, Be Happy Italian.
Nope.
Kind of weird.
Nope.
Yeah.
Eat Happy Italian.
Did I say be happy?
Yeah.
You know why? I'm getting ready to go to a wedding. I'm leaving bright and early in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh God. And this is not going to work.
Your head's not in the game.
But let me explain something to you. Folks, Eat Happy Italian. I saw the cover. I can't wait to see what's behind the cover. That's all I'm going to say.
I put the covered choices in my Facebook group, the NSNG recipes group, Eat Happy group. And we got so many comments. I had to add the publisher in because I was like, I can't even begin to download all of this amazing feedback. So I'm letting them handle it.
Okay. Which way?
And then we will decide.
Just tell me.
We don't know. No, literally this morning I had to add in the lady who's in charge of the cover designs for Ben Bella.
Please tell me it was heading in the direction of the cover I want.
No, it was very split down the middle, 50-50.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yep. See, I don't know anything apparently because I thought the orange hat would outsell the gray hat. And
I did too. I was orange hat.
Again, Debbie is always right. And she goes,
you like the manicotti. I liked the meatballs, but I could go either way. I like both of them. I don't listen. And by the way, these are wonderful people taking the time, giving their feedback and voting. I know you guys are going to buy it anyway, and I appreciate it. It's just kind of fun to have some input and see what people think.
No, I think you just
because I didn't do that for the first two books. I was like, here it is. There's your cover. Deal with it.
So my youngest brother, his youngest son, getting married.
Oh.
So here's the thing. I have one. Let's see. There's Mikey, Joey, Steele, Hayden, and Charlie. Charlie's a girl. I have four nephews and a niece.
Wow.
The youngest one, Hayden, the one I called the snowflake on the show a couple of years ago because I tried to get him to climb Mount Everest. Not Mount Everest, Mount Whitney.
Okay.
God, for them,
same thing. Yeah.
So here's the crazy thing. He's the youngest, my youngest brother's youngest kid. Steele is his older brother. It's the first one to get married. Period.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's like 27, 28.
Yeah.
Met this girl in college, they college suite.
And they're ready. That's awesome.
Yeah. They bought a house together like a year ago. They're unlike me, they're very responsible. As you they didn't they went out and got a house, started living.
One time right before pandemic, we were out in Brooklyn. And there was I think I said this on the podcast. We were at this place that had, it was nice. It was like a steak and oyster house, but a little bit bougie because it's Brooklyn, but not like, it's not Peter Luger's or anything, but it was nice. And this table of millennials was there and they're just laughing and with Warby Parker glasses and disposable income because they had like craft cocktails. And I just didn't understand how you could be that young and have that much money because I was a starving artist when I was their age. So I was just like, wait, how did you could buy dinner when you're that age? And it's probably because they were responsible. And
I don't know how it all works nowadays, but they all seem to have cash.
They do.
Right. And like I was making money while I was still in college. I figured out how to make money.
Yeah.
But I was so scared that I would not have money that I never
you wouldn't spend money.
did anything or
Yeah.
anything. I mean, I rode a bike everywhere. It was New Orleans, kind of a European like city. You could just ride a bike everywhere.
Right.
I mean, I would take my car, like if I went out to the discos or something, you know, I would burn a little gas for that. You
Yeah.
gotta remember, folks, I had a
I want to see
a
young Vinny at the discos
No,
doing
you don't.
his
You don't
dance.
You don't wanna
Yes.
see that.
I would
You
love
do
to see
not
that.
want to see that.
Give me some Jeff's haberdashery, like the whole get up.
Yeah, that I was younger. That was Jeff's. I was actually
That was the
older in
Jeff's
that picture.
days.
No, before the Jeff days.
Oh, okay.
I put up some pictures. Megan put up some pictures recently on my Instagram, if anyone wants to check that out. And Coddington wrote to me, he's like, dude, you looked like that when you were a kid. I was like, yeah, I did. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can-
there was one picture where you were like, I was 19, and I was like, you look like you're 119. How does?
Yeah, I mean, right.
Yeah, you look like
that's what
you look like a 35-year-old Lothario, but you were 19 there.
Yeah, here, right now, this is when Coddington was like, okay, you looked like a full-grown man. I was like, yeah, I was like Jethro. I was born with a full.
Did you hit puberty when you were like 7? Did like stuff happen to you?
I hit puberty at 11.
Is that early for a boy?
Lois, that's right, Lois. I hit puberty early. Huh? Yeah. Look, I mean, I look back at these photos and I go, oh, now I get it. Back then, I didn't get it.
No, of course not.
I didn't get why people wanted to pay me for my photo. That was beyond anything I can understand. Right? As you know this about me. I don't like to shave because I don't like to look in the mirror. I don't like my own image.
Yeah.
Right? When I work out, I don't use the mirrors that often. Squats, you kind of have to use the mirrors, but I'm never looking at my face. I can't stand. It's like most people go, oh, I don't want to hear my voice. I don't want to look at my face.
Mm.
And I can't understand why other people would want to look at my face. Trust me, I got problems.
Then you see those pictures.
Yeah.
Of course, you never appreciate your youth is wasted on the youth, young, whatever that phrase is.
Yeah, I get it now. I didn't get it then. We're going to do a Villa Capelli ad.
Okay.
And I'm going to play a little something for you. So, Anna, we were talking about.
I have some questions too. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You were talking about
Stephen Crutchfield.
Stephen Crutchfield before the show. And Villa Capelli, Stephen Crutchfield owns Villa Capelli.
Yeah.
He and his husband, Paul Capelli, owned the company. When Paul passed away, we thought, oh, wait, is Stephen going to keep that going?
Right.
He did. He kept the whole Villa going. He
he?
kept the whole thing. And the bottom line is that olive oil is as good now as it ever was. And just like every other day, it was a week ago on this podcast when I was losing it at the end of the show. And just like the good old days, because I was on podcast number 4, I had been yelling in this mic for 4 hours nonstop. And Serena came down with my little jigger full of Villa Capelli, and I sipped it until it was gone. It turns out that was my second round of Villa Capelli that day. Right?
It's that it really like clears out your mouth.
Say again?
It really clears out your mouth and your throat.
It clears my throat. It soothes my throat. I just had it. Serena made a chicken salad, and I put some of that Anna angel dust on it, that the dill. Yeah. It was a chicken salad with the dill.
So good.
And then, she never puts enough salt for me. So
you gotta add more salt.
I have my own little salt thing.
Mm-hmm.
I pinch from. So I brought my salt downstairs with me because I was working. I had to eat down here. And I brought my cayenne just to cayenne it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also put another drizzle of Villa Capelli on top of it. Folks, people ask me about the supplements I take outside of what I take at purevitaminclub.com.
Yeah.
And what I take, my main supplement is olive oil every day. Every single day. Villa Capelli, best olive oil on the planet. If you want some, you can go to villacapelli.com. When you get to checkout, put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE. Now, you're going to save 10% by doing that, but if you want to save more money, spend over $125 after the discount, which means you got to spend about 145. After the discount, you're going to still be above 125. You get free shipping. Do that. And you go, Jesus Christ, Vin, 125, that's a lot of money. Guess what? You'll have olive oil for a long time. And if you keep it in a cool, dry place, don't leave it out in the sun. Don't leave it on a windowsill. Cool, dry place somewhere in your pantry or your larder, as Serena would call it. And you will have that olive oil until it's done. It won't go rancid. Trust
Vinny,
me.
did you know that he has, I didn't know that at Villa Capelli, if you go to spices and you scroll down, he should be featuring these. Zucchini pesto,
Really?
basil pesto, and eggplant pesto.
Yeah, he should.
What? I got to order. I see those are the perfect ones to add on to your order to get you to the free shipping thing.
Yeah. So if you get a 3-liter tin, that'll set you back almost $100. You get some of these spices, the eggplant pesto, what have you.
I wish he'd get the KTM back, but until then, do the Olio Santo.
Yeah, the KTM was great. Some people couldn't handle it. This Cajun was able to handle it.
Weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Villa Capelli is just absolutely the best. I was not even paying attention. I was just going down the rabbit hole of the site, and I love it so much. The lemon oil sold out, so that sucks.
I have some.
You know what? It's getting to that point again where stuff is starting to get sold out. So I would get over there and buy it, you guys. Honestly,
yeah, look,
stock up.
they don't add seed oils or anything. So you really want to get it when those olives are crushed and they make the oil. That's that.
Yep.
So go check that out. Anna,
I would like to do a little bit of cooking and food Q&A for a second.
Okay, sure.
Mostly because they just came in and I just want to talk about them. Here's a question I'm getting asked a lot this week, and I guess has it cooled down on the East Coast? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. We've had some, I call them air conditioned days. You walk outside and it feels like someone left the air conditioner on.
I love that. Well, this explains why I've been getting this question a lot. But I'm going to start with Alicia's version because that's the one that came in the most recently. Hi, which would you recommend? Instapot or crock pot for making soups and chili and stuff during the fall and winter so I can make it while at work?
Okay, can I ask a question, Anna?
Yes.
I've asked you this before. I don't really understand the difference. And explain that as part
I'm going to explain the difference. First of all, the brand is Instant Pot. People say Instapot, but it's not an Instapot. It's an Instant Pot. They declared bankruptcy this past year. I think it was one of the reorganization ones, not one that they're going out of business because they're still selling the Instant Pot. Okay, a crock pot is a brand name for a slow cooker. So I always called it crock pot too because that was the brand that had the thing that you would make the
it's
slow
kind of
cook
like Kleenex. You could
exactly.
Everybody calls everything Kleenex. That's a sneeze napkin.
So an Instant Pot is a multifunction cooker. The thing that is the best function about it is the pressure cooker. So you can make things that you would make in a slow cooker in a shorter amount of time. It uses pressure. You have to have a little bit of liquid in there. Now, my grandmother had a pressure cooker and she would make all kinds of stuff in it. And if that thing exploded all over the kitchen, it would be a mess and you would be cleaning stuff up for weeks and finding exploded whatever she made for forever. So, and it was this old school, this pressure cooker that my grandmother had was like an old aluminum pressure cooker. I didn't understand why it was so dangerous. Like, what are we doing? Right. Even as a kid, I was like, stay away from that thing. My mom was like, don't you go near when she's making the pressure cooker. Don't go in the kitchen.
Right.
I did anyway, but so an Instant Pot is the most appealing aspect of it is that it's a pressure cooker. They will say it's because it's multifunction. The thing that I have found, because of course I've owned several slow cookers over the years and owned an Instant Pot because the Instant Pot craze really kicked in while I was writing the recipes for the second book. And it became over and over again. How do you make this slow cooker recipe? How do you adapt it for an Instant Pot? So I found myself having to convert recipes and making posts. And finally, I got my own Instant Pot. Lauren got it for me for Christmas one year, maybe 2018, somewhere around there.
Are they expensive, Anna?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Not as far as like kitchen gadgets go, they're not bad. But I love and I have links to both at my kitchen at annavicino.com. You click Anna's Kitchen or My Kitchen or something like that. You'll see everything. The Instant Pot, I want to say, I think it was somewhere between 80 and $100.
Okay.
I got the 6-quart. You can get bigger. I will say, don't ever store these things above your head. Try to put them below. A friend of mine got a concussion. I shit you not. She was unloading her Instant Pot and it fell and hit her in the head and gave her a concussion. And that's horrible. And so just don't store really heavy things in your kitchen above your head. Store them down below. So the Instant Pot, some drawbacks. Because people often are like, well, if you're only going to get one, get the Instant Pot. Some drawbacks are that it has a hot spot. So if you're using it to brown things or even the slow cooker function, it has a tendency to want to start to burn because it has that hot spot. And I don't like that. But the great thing about an Instant Pot that I love, and the reason why I keep mine and don't give it away, is I use it all winter long to make broth. So I save whatever bones we haven't physically gotten our saliva on. I save all the bones and the carcasses and the veggies that are about to go bad, and I make broth every single week. And I freeze stuff for the summertime. I'll make it somewhat, but usually in the summer, I'm not roasting chickens like I am in the winter. So I have a tendency to not make as much brothy stuff. But all winter, I will use that Instant Pot sometimes twice a week to make broth. So for broth, it's perfect. The slow cooker, I find, keeps the integrity of the recipe a little more. And it's kind of hard to say because you are slow cooking something for maybe 4 to 8 hours. So it does kind of meld together, but there's something about that Instant Pot when you're pulverizing it, it just really pulverizes the food. It's not quite as appealing as a slow cooker to me. So if I had to choose one, I would choose the slow cooker. And if you have some extra bucks and extra space in your cabinet, do the Instant Pot. And then what happened was people then started going crazy for the air fryer, which of course pissed me off because I'm not falling for the tricks, right? I fell for your Instant Pot trick. And then when the book came out, people got upset that I put Instant Pot recipes in there. So I was like, well, I can't win. I don't have an Instant Pot. Well, that's why I tried to put some slow cooker directions in there too. Anyway, so I was like, I'm not falling for it again with the air fryer. But then, as you know, I wound up getting the air fryer this year and I love that thing. So that's my answer with that. I would imagine Serena's going to trot out the slow cooker pretty soon, start making some chilies and.
Yeah, it's been coming out. We do most of the chilies. We did a big chili just night before last, and she did it Saturday because she knew I like it to sit for a day.
Yeah,
and then I had it for Sunday football.
Make the flavors marry.
Yeah, and then I also had it again last night for Monday Night Football. Go Saints! They won. And, I also had, for the early games, I had leftover Italian sausage from the day before. I just sliced it up in little medallions and, just heated up a pan, put a little butter on it, both ways, got a little crisp on it. When people go,
this was pre-cooked sausage because all you had to do was sear it to get the crisp.
The day before, it was cold. It was in the fridge. I just chopped them up into medallions and hit it both ways. We cooked it all the day before. So I just needed to heat it up and get a little crisp on it. And people always say, what do you eat during a football game? That, right? I never eat. Another thing I do is I do like a graduated charcuterie board. It might have olives. It might have a couple of boiled eggs that I slice up, put on there. It might have some nuts, some walnuts, what have you. And then maybe some brie or a couple of cheeses on there. And again, I don't even eat all of it. I make it and then I put it back in the fridge, and then Monday Night Football comes. Like, oh, let me go finish that. I just, put the plastic over it. It's not that difficult, to get through football Sunday and Monday Night Football.
Oh, football food is my favorite. I have so many football food-esque recipes, but I just want you to know, and you'll appreciate this. I hammered out 2 giant chicken breasts, seasoned them, rolled them in a little bit of almond flour. You can do pork rinds too. Fried them in the pan in the Villa Capelli, threw them in a casserole dish, poured the arrabbiata all around it, and put some fresh mozzarella in there, heated it up for 20 minutes. Spicy chicken parm. That was our football food on Sunday.
Nice.
And then I have a pound of pork and a pound of ground beef, and I'm just making meatballs. And We're just literally going to eat 2 pounds of meat between the two of us. Going to eat some meatballs. If I have a veg in there, it might be a little bit of a butter leaf, but what is it called? Red leaf. What is it called? Red butter lettuce, red leaf butter lettuce. That's it. Just a little bit because I want to use
butter lettuce, but that's not what you're talking about.
Well, it's red leaf butter lettuce. It's really, they grow it around here, the little gems. So I'm having that from the farm stand. If there's any left, if not, I'll just eat the meatballs. I don't give a shit. But speaking of, I wanted to also ask one more question on the air. I wrote back Ian, because I have gotten this question before. So I sell 3 powders: the taco seasoning, the dill, which is a ranch seasoning that you mentioned earlier, and the barbecue dust. Now, if you're not used to cooking, you might feel intimidated when you receive these in the mail and not know how to apply these to the meats. So let me just give a quick rundown, because Ian wrote me saying how to use the spices on the meats. And I do put instructions on the canisters, but I just want to say taco seasoning, 2 tablespoons per pound of meat. If you're using it as a rub, you can just rub it all over. Like if you're going to make carne asada and you buy a skirt steak, just rub it all over it and grill it and it's ready. You can always taste stuff as you're going along, but you want to make sure the meat is cooked. I have tons of recipes for all of these spices at Eat Happy Kitchen. There's a tab that says sauce and spice recipes underneath each product. So make sure you take advantage of that, because I would be a really stupid person if I sold you guys spices and then didn't tell you how to use them. I want you guys to be able to use them and enjoy them. The dill, 1 tablespoon in a cup of sour cream or creme fraiche or full fat Greek yogurt. Do the ranch dip. I did this last night, and
Anna, there was a glitch right in the middle of you giving the recipe out.
Okay.
Glitched. So
okay.
so
the dill. Thank you. The dill is to make the ranch dip, and this is what's on the side of the thing. You can do 1 tablespoon of the dill to a cup of sour cream or creme fraiche or full fat Greek yogurt, whatever you have. And then if you want to add some lemon juice, you can, but you don't have to. You mix them up. If it's too thick, you can dilute it with heavy cream, because I take it all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No reason to put water in it. That would just water it down.
No, I wouldn't do that. So anyway, I mean, the flavor will still be there, but it just, I don't know, heavy cream makes everything better, right?
Sure.
So that's how you make the ranch dip. But I also throw the ranch all over chicken and then grill it. I throw it over salmon and grill it, or throw it in the oven, and I put it on eggs constantly on eggs. And then the barbecue dust, you can literally put on anything, which we've talked about repeatedly here: burgers, meatballs, chops, ribs, fish, chicken. I've taken the barbecue and the dill and mixed them together and made a dill ranch barbecue roasted chicken.
We call that a suicide.
That's a suicide. That's a suicide right there. Add the taco in, make it a full suicide.
Yeah.
So I just want to go over that. So thank you for letting me.
No problem. I want to give kudos to Mark, who dat on Twitter. Well, X, I think. Do we call it? People still call it Twitter. Do we call it?
I call it Twitter because X feels weird.
Now that reminded me of a song for the end of the show. Okay, so Mark, and we can't give his last name because he doesn't use it on social media. He just goes by Mark, who dat on Twitter. Who dat is a New Orleans Saints thing. He's from Louisiana. He's actually met my brothers. He drives a truck, and he goes to different dealerships, and he's gone to both of my brothers, the dealerships they work in, and he's met them both. I've never met Mark, but I've coached Mark in consults. He tried to do Whitney last year, and he failed. He didn't fail. He just, for whatever reason, he couldn't go all the way.
Did not complete.
Yeah. Okay. So he didn't give up. He didn't give up. We were talking about failure earlier in the show. He went back this year, just last weekend, and I got a bunch of pictures of Mark on the top, which proves that he was up there. He was actually up there on the same day as my buddy Don Coddington.
Don Coddington's Friday, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
I will. Yeah, they were up there at the same time. They didn't meet each other, from what I understand. Yeah, Mark, congratulations. Guy didn't give up on his goal. He's been
awesome.
fitness for a couple of years here. his goal was to get up to the top of the highest point in the lower 48. And he accomplished that just this past week. Mark, this is coming out in 2 weeks. So if it sounds confusing, that's because
it is.
We're 2 weeks ahead right now because of all the travel and everything I do. So congratulations, Mark. Now, without any further ado, before we go, people tell me they enjoy this, so I'm going to do a little more of it. Oh, did I get rid of it?
Are you going to play your YouTube?
Yeah, here it is. I found it. So
your YouTube has come up in my feed now, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, apparently
getting my views, Vinny.
Yeah. Yeah, look, people are liking it. The one that's out right now is doing quite well. It's called What Keto is Actually Doing to Your Body. The title says How Keto Failed You. And here, we'll play a little piece. I'm going to talk about what keto is actually doing to your body. A 2023 update. I'm going to talk about the problems people run into and how to solve them. Now, I get it. You had a friend or a family member who did keto and lost 100 pounds. So you gave it a shot. Maybe you lost a few pounds and then it stopped dry. Some people stop dry and start going in the opposite direction. So what happened? Why did it work for them and not for you? So we're going to talk a lot about where you went wrong, why low carb or keto, whatever you were calling it, didn't work for you. But that's not all we're going to talk about. Something I learned a long time ago when I played sports is you can't really figure out how to do things right unless you understand how you did them wrong. That way you can correct it. But this is not just going to be a Debbie Downer piece. I'm going to also give you the tools you need so that you can succeed this time. So hang out, and by the time we get to the end, I'll tell you exactly how to do it right. You'll have a formula, if you will, a map to move forward and do this correctly. I've been in the weight loss industry for 4 decades, 40 years of doing one thing, and I've had a lot of success. And since the way we eat has changed so much in those 40 years, we've learned more about how people get fat and what we can do to help them lose that weight. Over the past 10 to 12 years, I've taken it to the internet. I started working with people online. I actually do phone consultations on a daily basis where I work with people who want to lose weight. For the most part, morbidly obese people. So I hear the same things over and over. I know where the pitfalls are. I know where the bodies are buried. And I know how to help you get there. In my phone consultations, there are actually 2 things going on. They're listening to me because they're desperate for the right information. I'm listening to them because I'm trying to learn why people fail. And I've come up with 3 key aspects as to why people fail when they do low-carb diet. All right, so if you want to learn those 3 key...
Oh, I wanted to hear more.
Oh,
tell us the first thing.
You're going to have
Tell us the first thing.
No, done. You're going to have to go, if you want to see it, you got to go watch the video, How Keto Failed You.
So good.
Yeah. So people are really, really picking up on those. They're starting to gain, like I said, no one paid attention to me on YouTube. Then I started getting 1,000 people, then 1,500, then 2,000. Now we have 20.6 or 20.7 thousand subscribers. So people are buying 20.7 thousand subscribers.
Think about that.
So
if you get 300 more subscribers, you're to 21,000 people. That's like a stadium.
Not if, that's when I get
when.
And
that's so good.
And why that matters, because it shows that I'm helping people and makes me feel good. And look, people are watching, like I go back and I'll look at the videos, 2,000, then they started going to 2,500, then 3,000 and 3,300. And then, now this was is 7 days ago, is almost at 6,000.
That's amazing.
So it's picking up. And
you must be monetized by now, right?
I have no idea. I don't know how that works.
That's so great.
Do I see actual money from it? No, but I'm sure someone's keeping track of that. At any rate, folks, if you want to go see these little pointed videos, the one that's going to be out by the time you hear this is talking just directly about sugar. It's not a 20-minute long one. It's like 6 or 7 minutes. I explain to you how sugar addiction happens in your brain. So it's 6 minutes. You're in and out. I mean, a stop at Starbucks takes longer than that. And this is free.
Yeah.
And it will show you how, when sugar hits the front of your tongue, what goes on in your brain and how these addictive things happen, right? So go check that out. It's not out yet. It's going to be out by the time this show comes out. So you can go and
That's so great.
consume that over at Vinnie Tortorich YouTube.
Consume YouTube, not sugar.
Yeah. Oh, you told me you mentioned
what happens when your YouTube hits the front of my tongue?
Anna, I can't remember which song you reminded me
I
of.
said weird, and then you said something.
No,
it was weird.
You said something else.
Shit, I don't know. That's, you know what? This is what you get for keeping it a secret, because then you don't have anybody backing you up.
It reminded me of a song, and I can't think of what it is now.
Then you have to play Shania Twain. If you can't think of who it is, you have to play Shania Twain.
Is that a mandate?
Mm-hmm.
Man, are you sure?
It's a lady date.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do it.
You're doubting if you could play Shania?
I don't know. I don't think I have it in me.
All right.
God, I so love her. I love her so much.
Of course, she's great.
Yeah. Everything about her. Look, without Shania Twain, let me tell you young people something. There would be no, what's her name? The famous girl that's selling out everywhere.
Taylor Swift.
There would be no Swifties out there if there wasn't a Shania Twain. Shania Twain opened it up for the Swifties, okay? She's the OG. Now, the other OG is Anna Vocino. Anna Vocino has kitchen.com. Go check it out. You want to get all of her gravies. You want to get her powders. And you want to get her books. I'm sick and tired of people saying, I'm eating like this. I don't know what to eat.
It is crazy.
How do I cook? Go on.
I got books for y'all. Texas people, by the time this show comes out, we will have our sauces on the shelves of Central Market. Now, as I'm recording this with Vinny, we are on the shelves, I think, of 8 out of 10 of them, but I didn't want to say anything. So by the time that this comes out, we will be on the shelves at Central Markets. I need y'all to support everybody who said, bring your sauces to Texas. We did it. It took 18 months to make this happen.
Yeah.
So go buy sauces, stock up. It is sauce season. You're slow cooking. You're making things. I got you with recipes. Go get the sauces. I really appreciate it.
If I had a nickel for every time someone told me to bring my sauce to Texas. All right, folks, you know what to do. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. Puts a little coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. We're able to keep this show free. I use that money to keep this show free. So if you're interested in doing that, boom, that's how you do it. The NSNG ebook been downloaded a gazillion times. Tens of thousands of people have lost millions of pounds just by reading those 27 pages. It's not a whole book. It's just the facts, ma'am. That's all you're getting, just the facts.
It might be the most important 27 pages you lay your eyes on.
Yeah. Look, I mean, people, a lot of the consults, people call me crying. You've saved my life. I don't think I saved their life. They saved their life.
Right.
All I did was wrote this stupid PDF. It helps people. Go do that, folks. And on that note, let's see what I came up with. On behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with this woman right here.